Hi students, today we are going to learn this topic called double fertilization. One of the simplest topics that you will learn. You can learn it today with me explaining this with this video itself. You don't have to even study anything else. However, you will find that there are a lot of questions being asked from this topic. So please stay tuned till the end of the video and don't forget to subscribe. Okay, so what is meant by double fertilization? To know what is double fertilization, let's recap and remember what is the structure of pollen grain. So I hope you remember pollen grain is not a cell. Instead, pollen grain is a gametophyte having the gamete. I hope you remember that. Now, this structure, as it falls on the stigma, what happens? It starts making a pollen tube. Which part helps in the formation of pollen tube? This part, the vegetative cell part. And the vegetative nucleus helps in formation of the pollen tube and pollen nucleus, which has nothing to do with the fertilization itself. However, generative cell, which has the nucleus called as a male nucleus, is our hero. It is only a single nucleus as of now, but as it is moving down in through the pollen tube, it splits into two, forming two male nucleus. These both nucleus has functions. All right, so let's see where it is going. It goes directly into the embryo sac, into the ovary, into the ovule of the ovary. Inside the ovule you have the embryo sac, and into the embryo sac it is going. Right, now when it reaches the embryo sac, which side does it enter through? It enters through the micropylar end, or the place where there is an opening. All right, so once it enters, what enters? The two nucleus is trying to enter here. The pollen tube is helping it to go through it. Does it directly go to the egg? No, it does not. Remember this. Where does it enter? It enters into one of the synergids, and the synergids have special properties. Synergids have certain structures called filiform apparatus. You can see it here. The synergid has filiform apparatus. This function of filiform apparatus is to guide the pollen tube into the egg. All right, so the pollen tube directly doesn't go to the egg. Remember this for one MCQ, 1 mark MCQ. It doesn't enter into the egg. Instead, it goes into the synergid. From the synergid, where does it go? From the synergid, it directly goes into the egg, like so. And one of the male nucleus, I told you there are two male nucleus generated from the generative nucleus. I hope you remember that. And then one of the male nucleus fuses with the egg, like so. And the other male nucleus goes and fuses with the polar nuclei. Where exactly is the polar nuclei? It is inside the central cell. I have explained very clearly the structure of embryo sac in the previous video. If you haven't watched that, kindly watch that so that there is no confusion over here. So you have two nucleus, male. One of them fuses with the egg, resulting in a zygote. Resulting in a zygote. Other one fuses with the polar nuclei. How many polar nuclei are there? Two are there. Two polar nuclei plus one male nuclei. Three of them fuse together. This becomes the primary endosperm nucleus. A lot of questions come from here, so please be a little attentive here. I'll repeat the process in a simpler way. You had two nucleus coming towards the egg. It didn't directly come to the egg. Instead, it came through the synergid. Who guided it? The filiform apparatus, cellular thickenings which are present in the synergid help it to move towards the egg. One of the nucleus fused with the egg, resulting in zygote. Therefore, you have an egg with with its chromosome number as N, and a male nucleus with another N, that is its chromosome number as represented as N, because both of them are haploid. Therefore, zygote becomes 2N. The same way, one more nucleus was there which went and fused with a polar nuclei. Already polar nuclei, two are there. So there's an N here. I'll take another pen. N here, N here, and the male nucleus also fused here. So you have a 3N. The ploidy here is 3N. The reason why I'm repeating this is if you look at the previous year questions, you will find that there are so many questions related to this. Look at this question. Repeated question, by the way. The zygote is diploid. Primary endosperm cell or PEN is triploid. Explain. So that's all you have to say. Because what is the answer for this? Because zygote is developed from fusion of egg plus the male nucleus. Both of them are haploid, having male nucleus. Both of them are haploid with N as chromosome number. Therefore, this is 2N. The same way you explain this one. One male nucleus fused with two polar nuclei. Therefore, you have 3N as the ploidy. Now, the phenomenon of double fertilization, if you have to explain, the same thing you're explaining. What else you're adding on? Male nucleus plus the egg nucleus gives zygote. Zygote will become the embryo, or which will further become the baby plant. Isn't it? Right. The other one, that is this PEN or primary endosperm nucleus, will develop further into endosperm. Why endosperm? Because this is the nutritive tissue. Another question that I missed adding here is that there is always a question that is being asked. Endosperm develops first and zygote develops, or the embryo develops later. So the question would be, endosperm development precedes embryo development. Explain. Reason. The reason is that because endosperm's function is giving nutrition to the developing embryo. Right. Next question, function of synergids or filiform apparatus guiding the pollen nucleus in the pollen tube towards the egg. Micropyle allows the entry of pollen tube. Next question, why the fertilization is called double fertilization? Why is it called double fertilization? Because there are two fertilizations that happened here. One fertilization of egg plus male nucleus, number one. One fertilization happened over here. This is the first fertilization. Second fertilization happened between male nucleus plus polar nuclei. So the second fertilization happened here. So two fertilizations happened, and therefore you call that as double fertilization. Next question is to draw and write the ploidy of the cells. All the cells inside the embryo sac are N ploidy. The moment egg and male nucleus fuses, you get a zygote which has ploidy as 2N. PEN, which is formed by fusion of male nucleus and polar nuclei, 3N. So this much you write, you get those 3 mark or 5 mark. All the best. I hope you're learning proper, and please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Stay connected. All the doubts that you have, please ask me through the comment box, and I'll be continuing this chapter further. Thank you.